Today, it's heavy how-to on our Hemi, installing a Dana 60 rear with 4-bar shockwave suspension, fabbing a 3-inch exhaust, and hanging panels, plus blocking in the Year 1 crate Camaro.
Today on MuscleCar, we're going to put a Dana 60 rear end in our Challenger project, along with a 4-bar airbag setup.
Before we can get our Dana dialed in, we need to make sure our engine and transmission are at the correct angle to the rear end. And to do that, we're going to make sure that our carb base on our intake manifold is level. A little bit more. Keep going. Keep it coming. Oh, that's perfect.
The most important thing is when you're setting up your engine and transmission to make sure that the carburetor is level so the floats work properly.
The drivetrain alignment for our Challenger started at the engine and it continues back here with the rear axle. Now we pitched the engine down 3 degrees at a negative angle, and we're going to bring the nose of our rear end up to a 3-degree positive angle. And this will keep everything aligned during normal driving.
What we did was we made these stanchions, and that way it holds the rear end center and it's locked down. We'll put some tacks on it so the rear end doesn't move at all. So when we put in our 4-bar, everything is square.
We're going to use this new triangulated 4-bar setup from Air Ride Technologies. Now this is a really sweet kit because it's completely bolt-in, and it's going to allow us to get rid of those leaf springs because we're going to use these, the shock waves. This is the shock and air spring all together in one. Frees up a lot of room, and I can't wait to get this thing stuck on the car.
The thing that's cool about using these stanchions to set up our rear end, we can actually put the wheel anywhere we want inside the wheel well, so we're putting it dead center so it looks really cool. And to do that, we use the plumb bob.
Way. That's how it would go right there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It glues on like that. Clear out here. This is at 31 and a half. Doing this one. Oh yeah, that one's level. Just level them up, lock them down, and weld them in place.
Remember, you want to tack all your work in place. Then double check everything before laying down your permanent weld. You always want to make sure that you measure your center hole to center hole so you get your distance proper for your airbag. That way you get the right amount of travel and it looks good.
Yeah, because this bend here, it actually, it's like at an angle, so it leans this bracket where it needs to be. So that won't work.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be fabricators. Since we moved our Dana 60 forward from its stock location, the upper bag mounts will need to be modified. Putting it on. You guys, it fit up there real nice? All right, cool. Yeah, so do mine. We modified this thing so heavily that it pretty much took us right past the bolt-on stage.
Not that that's a bad thing, because this bolt-on kit was a really good starting point for us. So we just got to do some modifications. Next mods we got to do, upper bag mounts, and we got it good.
Keep tweaking until it's perfect.
Cutting the welds will let us use heat to change the angle of the top bag mount. Flame on! Oh yeah.
The other one was up, you were like, yeah, yeah.
How's that? Is that high enough
Gooder,
for you?
much gooder.
Okay.
Good go.
Give me one.
No, something's wrong. There. Lou knows you in the nuts. That looks good.
It'll be nice and swoopy.
Moving the rear forward means we need to make templates and fab up brackets that tie the top bar to the axle tube.
You want to just keep holding it? When you're building a custom drivetrain and trick suspension, you need to plan on making brackets like these to get everything dialed in.
Tacked in, I'm happy.
Later, building the Hemi,
Slowly
a
start
custom
with
exhaust from
product.
scratch. But next, it's final bodywork tips on the Crate Camaro.
Awesome. Hey guys, you're back in the shop with the Crate Camaro, and today we're talking primers. These break down into 3 basic groups, and each one of them has a specific purpose. The first one you're going to apply is going to be a primer for adhesion. Now that's pretty self-explanatory. So we'll move on to the next one, which is a primer surfacer, like you see behind me here. It works like a sprayable body filler, and it's going to allow you to bodywork the car as one giant panel. Then last but not least, before paint, is your primer sealers.
I'm using tape here to establish my body line, and it also gives me a nice stopping point when I'm block sanding.
This helps you create a visual guide for subtle body lines. Just block to both sides of the line. And not sanding the edge lets you build a sharp, crisp line.
Keep in mind, you can always make your own sanding block. I needed this one to fit a specific shape, so my broom handle's a little bit shorter now, but that's okay. You can always find something that'll work in your shop.
An area that I'm always getting asked about is reverse contours in the body. I like to use a round block in a crisscross motion to prevent from cutting any low spots. And if you take your time and pay attention to areas like this, it'll really set your paint job off.
On tight areas where you have complex curves and you can't get a sanding block in there, I like to use the red Scotch-Brite. Just remember to fold it in half so you don't get those finger waves, and you're good to go.
Well, we're ready for the last stage of our sanding process. When we do this, you don't want to finish with anything rougher than 320 because it's going to map through your base coat, especially if it's metallic. Tape's great for masking off areas that you don't want to sand.
I'm sorry, did I run into you?
Yeah, you did.
Excuse me, this is my beach.
Yeah, I'm out. Something to keep in mind is not throw out those old Scotch-Brites. They're great for cleaning off sandpaper.
It's dirty, it's dusty, and it takes a lot of elbow grease. But if you take your time and block every surface, you'll end up with one killer paint job.
Well, it's been a ton of work, but we've really refined the shape of this 69 Camaro, and now it's finally ready for paint.
Not to
Up
mention
next,
ground
heavy breathing Hemi exhaust.
We wanted to go old school with our Hemi, so we decided to go with these high-flow cast iron exhaust manifolds from year one. Underhood temperature will drop because of the cast iron, not to mention ground clearance isn't an issue. I think I got it. Oh, you just moved it on me. Got it.
All right, just like everything else in our Challenger, we're gonna have to make our own exhaust system. And your best bet when you do something like that is to just get a universal dual exhaust kit. And then it's gonna come with X bins, U bins, S bins, J bins. I mean, you'll have most of the alphabet to work with.
First, we'll burn out some more of the old floor pan so we can lay out our exhaust tube.
That is one of the coolest wastes of time I have ever seen in my life. That is awesome. Flex that muscle car might. Awesome. That's going home on the trophy case. Yeah. Oh, man. This is what we started with for our collectors, but we want to transition to a 3-inch pipe real quick, right off the manifold. So this is what we're going to end up with after some modifications. Boy, this work's exhausting. You know that's funny. There we go.
Hey, you're my good man. Much rise.
Yeah, I think 45 will work out real good. Like, just doot, put us in this neighborhood, and then we'll kick back.
What we did was we took a piece of 3-inch aluminum tubing and just taped it in place to mock up a drive shaft, so we know where it's at when we lay out our exhaust.
We'll go steal it from Extreme.
If you want to get your line straight when you make your cut, make it perpendicular. All you do is take your combination square, lay it down, your bubble level is straight, and mark it.
Well, the next step is to bolt these collectors on and just start adding pipe as we go back. Eventually, we'll reach the rear end.
Uh-oh, it's not good. Get started. Laying out and fabbing the tubes from the headers back takes patience and planning to get it right.
Feeling your hail, boy?
Right there.
Okay, how much clearance do we have?
We got plenty. I mean, we got enough. We're definitely gonna have to put them out there, though.
Yeah.
Watch your eyes.
All right.
There you go. The reason why we're turning all these pipes and everything, not just for ground clearance, is so when we fire this baby up, it's not banging on everything. That's the last thing you want to hear when you fire up your new engine. That's pretty damn good, ain't it? There we go.
We welded some angle iron in place to hold our Flowmasters up above the lowest point in the car, and it's also going to give us somewhere to build our pipe back to.
We don't need no stinking instructions.
What do you think?
I like this. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, cool. I like that.
Now that we've got the exhaust pretty much where we want it, we're going to sit down and decide whether or not we want to run it out in front of the rear wheels or all the way out the back.
And while we're taking a break from that, we already got our suspension on. I think we should throw the wheels and panels on and see what this thing is going to look like. Alright, welcome back to MuscleCar. We're dying to see what this thing looks like on its wheels and tires. But before we pop it off the jig, the easiest thing for us to do is put the panels on it to get an accurate look.
For a guy from a modeling agency, you're so strong. I got a top there.
Alrighty then. Alright.
I got it started. Alright, you ready?
Yeah, tell me when you get real close to tightening.
I'll tell you when I'm putting.
Alright, Lou, let her rip.
Bottom
Do the
or
bottom?
top?
Bottom.
4.
Don't tell me I got it on the first try.
Oh!
Booyaka shot. Alright, Dan.
Fenders?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Man, I am, like, totally stoked.
I'm just holding it.
We're hung up on something, so we need to come back with it. You know, these hang up on that flange. We put the fenders too close to the door on this car, so that all we have to do is grind back. Ideally, you don't want to add. It's so much easier to just grind a gap and then, you know, weld where the seam splits than it is to add to it. So when you're building a car to this level, it's a lot easier to just go ahead and, you know, take care of that ahead of time. That's why I got one extra so I could lose the others. Here, let me help you. For car builders, getting to see how your car sits for the first time is truly gratifying.
Come on, get back under here.
Ready? Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
Wow! This is NASCAR pit stop, Lou. Oh, I am so fired. That thing's heavy. Oh my God, Lou, this thing looks so bad. I mean, it is so deep in the quarter panel. When the air's dumped out of this, it's gonna look sick. But it looks awesome enough at ride height. I can't wait to see it from the back.
Am I in the middle of the tires?
Yeah.
All right, I'm coming down.
Whether you're a pro builder or a weekend spectator, it's all about first impressions, and with cars, it's in the stance.
And our Challenger looks like it's going 100 miles an hour when it's sitting still. It looks like it wants to jump off this frame jig. So you know what? We're out of here. Later.
Adios.